Carnival Cruise Lines is being accused of stealing a pizza restaurant, of taking the concept and the menu and the name and basically just opening up its own version of a famous Miami pizza restaurant called Miami Slice on one of its cruise boats. I'm Kevin Nooper. I'm an attorney at the law firm of Nooper and Covey, and I want to talk to you all about this kind of crazy lawsuit out in Florida and what happens if you try to steal a pizza restaurant. So the restaurant is called Miami Slice. It is a pizza restaurant that's been kind of getting famous because it got reviewed by Dave Portnoy, who's a YouTuber and sort of on various social media for a company called Barstool Sports. If you don't know who he is, he does kind of pizza reviews, and he'll go eat slices of pizza at various restaurants. He went to this place, Miami Slice. He ate a pizza there, and he thought it was great. And so once he did his review, they started blowing up and became this kind of huge thing in Miami for a while. And they discovered that after they started getting some reviews and phone calls and various people talking to them, thinking that they were a completely different restaurant, that Carnival Cruise Lines had opened up on one of its cruise ships their own Miami Slice, and now they're suing and trying to get money for trademark infringement for using the Miami Slice name in Carnival's giant shopping mall cruises. So I'm going to show you the lawsuit and what the pizza restaurant says about this and why they want to shut down Carnival Cruises' own version of Miami Slice. This is the complaint in the lawsuit. You can see that it was filed by Miami Slice Pizza against Carnival Corporation and filed in Miami in federal court. That's the Southern District of Florida. And you can see the plaintiff's Miami Slice, and now they're giving kind of an introduction and why are they suing Carnival. They say the story of Miami Slice is that of a new restaurant rising through the immense challenges presented by the COVID-19 pandemic. While the pandemic forced numerous restaurants in South Florida and around the nation out of business, Miami Slice flourished into one of the hottest restaurants, not just in South Florida, but the entire country. Founded in 2019, Miami Slice adapted to the pandemic by selling its artisan pizza to customers curbside from its back alley pizza lab. After developing a cult-like following as a speakeasy pizza to-go service restaurant, Miami Slice opened a Slice Bar restaurant in the summer of 2022. The restaurant's concept was simple: an open kitchen, bar-style restaurant serving 5 select slices of pizza for customers to take out or eat in. And so they say basically this became immensely successful. There's all these news articles about it. And they're sort of quoting these news articles where they're being Instagrammed by people. They're hot news spot. They say that Barstool Sports' Dave Portnoy called Miami Slice an instant contender for best pizza in Miami, and that they had this meteoric rise to fame that attracted numerous celebrities and social media influencers, including most recently David Beckham and Tom Brady, who held a private yet highly publicized pizza party at Miami Slice for their family and friends. So that obviously, when you got Beckham and Brady over there doing a pizza party, you're doing pretty well. And they say that their triumphant story veered awry when their neighboring corporate giant decided to trample on their intellectual property rights. They say that defendant Carnival's intentional hijacking of the Miami Slice name and concept for use on Carnival's newest ship, the Carnival Celebration, now necessitates Miami Slice's instant claims for trademark infringement. And instant just means in this lawsuit. That's a kind of a legal phrase. So they basically say that Carnival opens up this new cruise ship a couple years after their pizza restaurant becomes this giant big thing where all the celebrities at it, and it's called, the cruise ship's name is literally the Carnival Celebration. I can't think of better names for a ship, but that's what they went with. They say that it's been cruising from Miami, and later on they say I guess it was going to Finland, between Miami and Finland, and maybe Finland doesn't have good pizza. I don't know. They say that one of the zones on Carnival's newest ship is a fast casual dining area entitled Biscayne 820, which is a nod to Carnival's original postal address in Miami and an homage to Carnival's South Florida roots. However, rather than celebrating its Miami roots, the Carnival Celebration revealed Carnival's willful disregard for South Florida businesses by trampling on an emerging Miami business's brand and intellectual property rights. So what they did is they named their pizza restaurant on the ship Miami Slice, the exact same name. And you can obviously, if you own a pizza restaurant that's getting famous and someone just takes your name, that's kind of a problem. And they say that they actually used similar like designs for the letters because they all had all caps, and they also had the same exact kind of menu idea of you get 5 styles of pizza, you get a slice, and you get them in kind of quick service format. And they say that Carnival had to have basically known about this because of how famous it was, and they had sinister motives. There's a lot of rhetoric going on in this lawsuit, as you can kind of see, and that Miami Slice's brand and its goodwill are all on the line. So let's look a little bit about the consumer confusion that they're saying happened here, and what happens like whenever you infringe on someone's trademark like this. So you can see they say this is in federal court because of the Lanham Act, which is a federal law that allows you to sue over trademark infringement. And because trademark, there can be federal trademarks, and that means that it would go to federal court because that's what's called a federal question. They give some background on the trademark. This company, Sotavento Ventures, which initially kind of started these Miami Slice pizza services, and then they say that then they start this Miami Slice company in Florida in 2020, and assign, which means just like give all the trademark rights of Miami Slice to this new company that they made. So I guess after doing kind of like the back alley speakeasy, whenever they made it a little more formal, they started actually incorporating and doing stuff like that. So they kind of explain how it works. Basically, it's like to go or carry out. They use the website or like a checkout thing on Instagram, on their Instagram account, and then they picked up the order at this place called La Latina Miami, which was a sister restaurant that has the same owners. And then they get all this kind of success. They move from the back of this other restaurant into their own lounge, and then their revenue I guess it goes from in 1 month they were making $2,000, and then they start by September making $60,000 a month, which comes out to, I guess, closing in on $1 million a year. So that's pretty big. And they kind of tout how impressive that is and say the line wraps around the block and you have to wait an hour, I guess, to get these Miami Slice pizzas. They're serving 10,000 people and 2,000 customers a month. They kind of go through all this media where people are reviewing this again, and they get their cult following. They love Dave Portnoy because he helped blow him up, so they start hyping up his Instagram account, all his Twitter followers, everything that they say he's very picky. So I guess Mr. Portnoy, part of why they're so proud of his review is that he's picky in his pizza reviews, and he doesn't just give people good reviews. He kind of may trash talk the pizzas, I guess. And instead of doing that for Miami Slice, he gives them the monstrous score, which is really good. And you get lots of and you can see kind of the comments on it on YouTube. Some of y'all are on there on the channel. Jimmy Cakes 12 is saying this is the best looking pizza he's had on in ages. Igran Babayev says no owners or staff outside, no random fans filming and screaming, just good old Dave and some fine blank pizza. Haynor says you can tell it's good as soon as he opens the box. And this other guy, Lauren Ajamil, says the place is insane, dead score on accurate. Ordered 2 whole pizzas from him. I was blown away. It sounds like this was really good. And they say they blow up from all this, like this attention from Dave Portnoy. And then they start getting other celebrities. Some of them I know Brady and Beckham. I don't know David Grutenman, David Einhorn, or Jeff Soffer, or who they are. But I guess they're famous enough that they got put in here, even though I may be a little out of touch. Then they get to Carnival Cruise Lines. What did Carnival do? They have this mystery ship. They say little is known about it, other than that when it was going to begin cruising, and it's going to have like features from some other ship called Mardi Gras, including a roller coaster. So I've never been on a cruise, but I guess, I don't know, if you can combine the two scariest things, going out in the middle of the ocean and having a giant roller coaster on your boat while you're doing that. They say this boat starts out from England and then goes to Florida. And then they start, like after going to Europe, they start providing all these Caribbean cruises going from Miami. And then the passengers start posting online. So that's what makes them kind of go, what is, all these photos are going to social media. And then it starts, the problem for the original Miami Slice is that now there's people online kind of giving reviews of the Carnival Cruise version of this, and confusing the two. And you can see that there's this blog that starts posting about the pizzeria that has all these fresh out of the oven pizza slices, and they put photos of it, and they have the exact same 5 types of pizzas according to this lawsuit. Although those are kind of like like margarita and pepperoni, it's not surprising to me that a pizza restaurant would have both of those. Although having just 5 slices and just 5 types and the same name and the same same thing is a little seems like a copy. Now the more unique pizzas, you can kind of see pairing the menus here. The one on the right is from Miami Slice in Florida, and the one on the left is from the cruise ship. And they do seem to like the unique pizzas are not exactly the same. The only ones that seem to be the same are the margarita and the pepperoni, and then each of them had 3 others that they kind of made up as their menu. But the name is kind of a problem, and you can see the logos are not exactly the same, but the same kind of thing. There's Miami, there's Slice. There's on the cruise ship they have a flamingo in the middle. On the original they have an asterisk kind of star thing in the middle. But it's the same kind of layout for the logo, and the same concept, I guess, of the menu, which is what the big thing really from a trademark perspective is the name. Like you're using the exact same name, using kind of a similar menu idea. You both have 5 pizzas. You both have the same menu layout. And then they start trash talking their relative pizza. So they say Carnival's pizza sucks. It is of significantly lower quality than Miami Slice's exceptional and widely praised artisanal pizza. They say the blogs are dumping all over the cruise ship pizza, which is not surprising. Your cruise ship pizza probably is not going to be as good as like regular pizza on at sort of real restaurants. It seems like it might be like a cafeteria type thing, but it's getting 0 ratings because it doesn't even taste like pizza. And people online are like already like speculating about if there's going to be a lawsuit between the two, because even the people going there are like, this is the same thing, but sucks. And then like they say that uh, passengers start like actually contacting the original restaurant saying that there's infringement. So someone contacts them and says, "Good morning. My family's going on a cruise in April. I saw your pizza is served on it. Carnival Mardi Gras. Correct me if I'm wrong. My son has an egg allergy but loves pizza. Does your pizza dough contain egg?" So I guess people were like thinking that Miami Slice had partnered with them. They say that Carnival basically knows about this because it's so popular, and now we're going to sue them for trademark infringement. So, what is trademark infringement at a basic level? If you don't kind of know the intellectual property stuff, you may not know like the legal stuff behind even kind of these phrases. And sometimes people don't. Like, I actually was a patent litigation lawyer for a while, and the most common question I got was, "What is a patent?" Which lawyers would kind of be like, "Everybody knows that," but you forget that you don't actually always know what that is. And so, a patent, if you're wondering, is like this government sort of right to an invention. So, if you invent something, that's one kind of what they call intellectual property. Intellectual property is just something you can own, but it's not physical. It's like a kind of mental, like a concept. You can own the legal right to, like, say you invent like a seatbelt or something like that. You can stop other people from using that kind of seatbelt unless they pay you what's called a royalty, which is a percentage of their earnings. Or you can just say, "No, you can't make my seatbelt. I invented." A trademark is a different kind of intellectual property. That's for a name. So if you have a name to a brand, you can trademark it, and the trademark gives you the right to the exclusive ability to use that name. So what you can do if you own that, if you're the one who owns the trademark, they could go to Carnival Cruise and they could have licensed their pizza restaurant. They could say, "Every pizza you sell, you got to give me 10 cents," or whatever they want to do on it. They could, but the thing about that is when you own the brand name, you kind of control how it looks, right? Like McDonald's will not let you put some McDonald's on a cruise ship without them being all over. Like, does it use the golden arches? Do the chicken nuggets taste sufficiently, no, maybe not good, but like, similar to the other McDonald's restaurants? Or, do they have the right menu? Like, what are they going to put on it? Trademark holders get the right to control, like, they can just say no. They can say whatever they want. But they're the only ones who get to, when you own that trademark, to sell like that in commerce in the area that the trademark covers, which would be the U.S. And these boats are sort of docking in the U.S. They're coming out of the U.S. They're coming out of Miami. So they're kind of in the same location. And they're suing them for what's called trademark infringement, which basically means infringing a trademark is using the trademark without the legal right to do so. You don't have permission. You don't own the trademark. And they're saying, so you use this without having any legal right to do this, and I have the right to stop you. And they're what they're talking about here when they talk about all this stuff about how popular they are, how well known they are. Part of the damages they're trying to claim is like you're confusing the public. So that's the whole point of a trademark, is to keep the public from thinking that that one brand is same as another. So you don't actually have to just use the phrase Miami Slice, right? It could be Miami Slices or Miami Pizza, even if other aspects of it made consumers think that they're the same restaurant, then that can still be a trademark infringement, even if it's not the exact same name. Here, it's just looking at it, it's pretty close. When you use the same name, same menu, like layout or whatever, the same logo layout, it's kind of clear from what they're citing that people actually were being confused a little bit, or at least some people thought these were the same restaurants, and that's a problem for branding. Because even that phrase "brand," if you kind of think about it, like you hear about people branding cattle when they sort of like they burn the little mark into the cows to say that's from the Kevin Ranch or whatever. Those the idea behind that is letting everyone know whose cow is it. Same when you use the word brand for a product, the idea is let everyone know whose product it is, so that the public knows: am I going to get cardboard cruise ship pizza, or am I going to get the same stuff that David Beckham is eating down at his celebrity parties? Um, so when you're a business that owns a trademark, you don't want to let other people serve junk pizza on some cruise ship, because people will start thinking, they'll start giving you bad reviews. They'll start saying, why do I want to eat this Miami slice? It's terrible. And people who don't know like anything about the fact that there's these two competing ones, will think the original is not as good as what it actually apparently is, at least according to Dave Portnoy. And they say, so they kind of go through all this stuff. And the interesting thing here too is they can also sue not just under federal law but under state trademark law. You see, Florida common law is what they say. So one of the sort of a little bit strange things about, or I guess not strange, but just quirky things about the way trademark law works is that there can be both a right under, there's a federal system where you can go, if you ever want to get a trademark, you can go register it with the federal government, and that's the best way to sort of protect your trademark rights. You get the strongest rights. You can sue for more money sometimes. But even if you don't do that, you can get what's called a common law trademark. And that happens just even by using it. So if you go out and start, making a restaurant, Miami Slice or whatever you name it, if no one else is using that name, you can get certain rights to it. They may be localized just to that area. They may not be as broad. That's why people always should go, like, if you really want to kind of protect your rights, you go file the trademark with the federal government to get the protection. And sometimes even internationally, there's like, that's way more complicated, but you can do that. You can file under this sort of thing that gets you like international protection in a bunch of different countries. But you would have rights even just by opening the restaurant. The second the doors open and you put the name on it and start selling it, you get certain limited rights. And they're suing under that, what's called common law as well. Common law just means it's not from like a Congress or a state legislature. It just sort of exists from a bunch of courts deciding it over a long period of time. So they go through here. They start basically talking about this intentional copying and what it did, and how it sort of was confusing people. One of the interesting things too legally is that what are they asking for in the lawsuit, and what rights do you have under a trademark? So not only can you get damages, but you can get court orders, which can, you can see they call it injunctive relief. That means it's an injunction. An injunction is a court order to stop doing something, and so they the phrase is enjoined. When you are enjoined, that means the court has given this injunction, an order to tell you don't do this. So they don't want any advertising using this logo. They don't want any like never use it again. never talk about Miami Slice. Never, like, Miami Slice is gone from Carnival Cruise Ships. Pay us your attorney's fees, which is something you can sometimes get in trademark suits. It kind of has to be a little bit extreme. You can see this. They call it treble damages, which is 3 times damages. That's again for like, it has to be intentional. Although it does look like probably this was copied on purpose if it's this famous. And they attached to their lawsuit. I'll scroll real quick to that. You can see some of these articles. Like, they show there's the pizza in black and white. It doesn't look as appetizing in black and white. It's kind of, they say it's good, but the pictures maybe don't do us justice when they print it out. They should have made a color exhibit if they wanted people to want to eat it. But then they've got some like Tom Brady. Here's some of the goat pizza party where they've got some people here, and then they've got, looks like they'll tell me who these guys are. A nightlife king, David Grootman, I guess, is like a nightlife king, and his partner, David Einhorn. And okay, so those people are famous if you're in the restaurant business. That's the reason I don't know who they are, and you may not know either. And then they have some more stuff, and basically show like all the stuff that they were getting. And I'll show you something real quick, which is what happens if you want to know why this is kind of like a big deal. I'm just going to show you some YouTube searches that I ran and what came up. This was from my search. It may change depending on who you are. I'm sure everyone's search results are like algorithmically made different. But after I scrolled down a little, maybe a page, I was starting to see reviews not for the Miami Slice original, but for this Carnival cruise ship thing. You can see this some episode of like it's not getting a ton of hits, so it must be like a little bit down in results. But then I'll show you one other one. This is another one. You can see that kind of pop up, and it makes it seem like it's on a cruise ship, and that one's got nearly 1,000 views, which again is not a ton. But what starts happening, especially if you go into like Yelp reviews or whatever, and you're getting these bad reviews, if you're a restaurant owner, like, you don't want this happening. You don't want anyone getting like invading your trademark like that, and especially not some giant corporation, which can then, part of the problem is they might get rights in the trademark if you let them just sit there and do it. Then over time, if it becomes like the Miami Slice in the public's eye, or even on the internet, people might start thinking it's the like the cruise ship is the one who owns it or the one who started it, and so not even just people thinking that the pizza's terrible, and it does look a little better in that photo from Dave Portnoy. It looks a little more appetizing than in black and white. But you can also see the cruise ship stuff looks a little, I don't know, doesn't look as sort of unique or back alley. And so you don't want that to happen because of sort of the damage to your brand. And this is what you do if you aren't like an influencer. If you're ever going to have a brand or want to do something like that, it's always good to like go search what's out there, what like have other people made the same brand as you yet, and to file that trademark before you get too far into your business. Because if you wait, someone else might come in and you aren't going to have all these kind of rights against them. You might be able to stop them, but it's important to be able to get damages. Otherwise, the cost of stopping them, you're going to pay those attorney's fees, you're going to pay all this stuff. It is, if your business starts getting serious, get the trademark. And I don't even do that as just so you know, as a lawyer, like don't call me about it. So I'm not like pitching myself for business or something. It's just something that's very important because of the rights that it gives you. So what will happen to Carnival? I suspect that they will end up changing the name on that pizza restaurant pretty quickly because I will say the lawsuit does look like it's pretty strong. It does look like that this was being used before, that they got the trademark, and that they seem to have established some pretty strong rights in it from a legal perspective. So you may be seeing junk cafeteria style pizza on Carnival, but under a different name and a different menu and something to distinguish it. Whether they pay money or not, that's usually, they probably will have to pay some money in a settlement, but we won't really see that if that's what happens. We don't have their answer yet, so we don't know. They could come in a lawsuit and do something different, but it does kind of seem like if you're Carnival, maybe this is not the best fight to have, given all the celebrities going out there to this. So if you're ever in Miami, go give it a try. I certainly will next time I'm over there. And if you want to hear more sort of videos like this, explaining legal concepts, getting into the law a little bit, trying to get more sort of detailed looks into legal lawsuits, so that people who are interested in law school or just interested in law can learn actually how it works in the real world, hit subscribe or hit one of the other videos on the end cards, and you can get into more crazy legal drama.